Okay, so we're diving into SUI today.
Yeah.
Your chart update had me kind of hooked.
Yeah.
We got to understand, like, what signals are we seeing and,
Right. Yeah.
where could things go?
Absolutely.
Because it's been a wild ride.
It has.
We saw that drop below 199 on
Yeah.
the support level.
Big level.
Yeah, and at first glance, it's like, that's not great.
Right.
But we're digging deeper, right?
Right. We're looking for that turnaround.
Yeah, is there a chance?
Exactly. And while that break below 199 is something to take note of.
For sure.
But if we zoom out a little bit and we start to see a potential low forming,
Yeah.
there are some key resistance levels up above that we need to watch.
Okay.
You highlighted 417
Right.
and then 465.
Yeah.
If we can see price push above those levels,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start to talk about a potential rally
Okay.
towards new all-time highs.
Okay, so let's think about that climb. You talked about a 5-wave move to the upside
Yes.
on the microstructure now.
Right.
For someone who's not, super familiar with charts and stuff.
Right.
What is that?
So a 5-wave move is a pattern
Okay.
of price increases that we see,
Gotcha.
and it happens in 5 distinct phases.
Okay.
And this pattern actually often suggests
Okay.
a new uptrend is starting.
Interesting.
So if we see all 5 of those waves complete
Uh-huh.
on a lower time frame,
Yeah.
and that's what we mean by microstructure.
Okay.
So we might look at like an hourly chart
Right.
or a 15-minute chart.
Okay.
If we see all 5 waves complete there,
Yeah.
it could be an early signal
Okay.
that the larger trend
Yeah.
might be shifting positive.
So even with that drop, we saw that
Right.
short-term pattern
Yep.
could be hinting that.
Could be hinting that. Yeah.
Things are turning around.
Yeah, some momentum building.
Okay, now what about the downside?
Right.
You mentioned a potential ABC structure. Yes.
Moving lower with a support area between 179
Right.
and 194.
Yeah.
How important is this?
So an ABC structure to the downside, it's a
Right.
very common corrective pattern.
Okay.
That 179 to 194 range,
Yeah.
that is critical.
Okay.
Because it represents a zone where we could potentially see buyers step in if the price can hold above that level.
Yeah.
It suggests that even though we saw selling recently,
Right.
there's still some underlying demand there.
Interesting.
If that happens,
Okay.
then we could set up for a reversal
Gotcha.
and potentially what we call a third wave rally.
Mm.
And targets for that would be way up in the 230 to 240 area.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a big move.
Yeah.
But again, contingent on that support holding.
So SUI right now,
Yeah.
kind of precarious.
Yeah, I think precarious is a good word for it.
But we have these signals, right?
We do. We have signals on both sides.
Yeah.
Potential for a short-term bounce.
And then that critical support zone,
Right.
that could lead to a much larger rally.
So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
the takeaway here is even though SUI is pulled back,
Yeah.
it's not a simple story.
Not a simple story now.
We could see more downside
Right.
in that 179, 194 range.
Yep.
But we also have these arguments for big upside.
Exactly. If it breaks through that resistance
Sure.
or if that support holds firm,
So it leads to a question then.
yeah, what are you watching?
What are you watching?
What price levels are you going to be glued to in the coming days?
Totally.
And then how do these different scenarios
Yeah.
affect how you see the whole crypto market?
So much to think about.
It's a fascinating time for SUI.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for breaking it all down.
My pleasure.
We'll be watching closely.
Likewise.
To be continued.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.